Welcome to Beauty and Gratitude. It is Friday night, 8 p.m., and I hope you're safe wherever you are. Shabbat Shalom, peace, all that good stuff. I want to thank you for tuning in to Beauty and Gratitude. I hope you've enjoyed the last two episodes. I believe last week was Juliet Silva Yee, as well as Reggie Walker, his new book, to inspire you about his life as an NFL player and how he's come out of that world and really focusing on being whole and also training people how to use that knowledge to become better business people, better men, better partners, better fathers. Also, before that, we had Elizabeth. Let's see, Elizabeth Meredith, as well as Justin Davis, who work in the film and television world, and they're amazing as well. So, thank you for tuning in to Beauty and Gratitude. Today, I have with me Winston Trey Peace. He goes as Trey Peace. He's a model, musician, also all around amazing soul. I love talking with him. We met a few years back, chatting about. We actually it was a photo shoot, and didn't have much conversation during that photo shoot, but energetically, I was totally zoning in on him, trying to gauge his energy. And we slowly kept communicating, and we'll talk about all those things. So, welcome, Winston Trey Peace. Trey Peace. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, D.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, it's funny, thinking back to when we met on that photo shoot. I remember showing up like under the weather and like not feeling well. And
Really?
immediately when I met you, you opened up your home to me. You were like, how can I help you? How can I make you feel better? And I was just like, okay, this guy's a good guy.
I had no idea you were sick that day.
You were like immediately offered me like water with lemon or like some ginger tea or something. You were trying to give me something to eat, like just anything to make me feel more comfortable. And it was a good way to start the day.
Yeah, and I had just moved to Los Angeles, and I think you had as well. So it was very new to me,
Mm,
and that's just how I am naturally. No matter who comes into my home, it's like I want you to feel at home. And
hmm.
even though we were doing a shoot, a photo shoot, I still wanted everyone to feel, like family, if you will. Yes.
Definitely a family now.
Cool. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you start modeling? Were you scouted, or how did that start?
So I was working at a restaurant in Nashville. It's called
Hmm.
Fin and Pearl. It no longer exists, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And I was a server there. One of my friends was a busboy. His name is Matt, and he was a fashion photographer. He was really drawn to it, and he was just kind of staring at me one day and was like, "Hey, man, I want to shoot you. I think
Hmm.
you would look really good in like my portfolio. I got a couple ideas." I was like, "Well, hey, man, like let's do it. I do music. I'll use the photos for music stuff. That's cool with you, and so on and so forth." So we did our shoot. Um, I ended up posting on my Instagram like our photos for afterwards. And as I'm posting, I'm like, you know what? I'm realizing my Instagram is private. I
Right.
don't know why it's private. I've
Hmm.
always wanted to be open to the world. I want to show myself to the world, so on and so forth. Let's make this public. And as soon as I made it public, I got a comment on the post from a gentleman named Keith Berry.
Hmm.
And shout out to Keith. He is a wonderful man. He kind of sent me a message and was like, if you don't have a contract, I have one waiting for you. Let's talk.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it was kind of heavy for me because I had never been in that position. So
Mhm.
I met with him, gave it some time, and then I ended up signing with Keith. He had a personal agency, a little smaller boutique agency, and unfortunately, within about a month or two, he ended up closing his agency.
Oh no.
But
Okay.
he had a very good friend, Amy, who is my mother agent, who was in the same building, connected me directly to her immediately. They're now my mother agency, I management, and within about a month, I think, of being with I and them trying to, show me the fundamentals, get me some test shoots and so on and so forth. A scout came out from LA to Nashville.
Mhm.
They were like, we want you out in LA in a month.
Okay.
So I was super excited, obviously, but I had a lot of conflict because I had just signed a new lease for an apartment.
Mm.
I was in school full time, going to college for mechanical engineering,
Oh
and I
wow.
had a job full time
Yep.
at this restaurant.
Yep.
So
Cool part. Wow. Okay.
So taking that all into consideration, I said, you know what? School is static. It's always going to be there. My good looks, hopefully, will always be here,
Yeah.
but
Good
those
one.
are most likely a time sensitive thing as well.
Not at all.
And it's I got to take this risk. So I withdrew from my classes. I broke the lease on my apartment, which was very difficult to do. I felt very bad for the landlords because they're wonderful people, but also it was difficult for myself because I had to sell a bunch of my music equipment that I had at the time. I had just finally gotten to this stage with my studio in my home, and I was like, yes, this is it. This is the quality I want. And then I had to sell it all and make the sacrifice. And then quit the job I had, security, financial security. That was definitely scary. Packed up everything I had in my little Volkswagen, and I drove up to Boston, said farewells to family and stuff on the East Coast from Nashville. And then I drove all the way back to LA.
Wow.
With $150 in my pocket and a Subway gift card.
You know what's interesting? I did that many years ago when I left New York to move to San Francisco. I left a job. I walked out because I was having a really bad day with this boss. I was like, you know what? I don't have to put up with this. And I literally walked out, didn't sign out. I could care less if they paid me or not. And I had, I think, one more check coming from, because I worked full-time someplace. I had a part-time job and I was in school. So I knew I had some checks coming in. I was like, okay, I'm going to use that money to move to California. And broke the lease. And I did the same thing. I moved across country with very little money, actually. And I just told myself I had a month to find a job, So my point is you made a leap of faith, which is beautiful.
100%.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Marblehead, Massachusetts. It's a small little fishing town just north of Boston on the North Shore.
Nice. So I'm in your neck of the woods right now, as you know. So
yes, sir.
Should I visit Marblehead? What do you think?
I would definitely say yes. You should visit Marblehead. It's a beautiful place. Right. I think I took it for granted growing up, as most people do their hometowns. You see it as this place you have a big bias towards, and the whole world outside of it seems like the only other place you want to be. But yeah, definitely take a visit. My recommendation for lunch, check out Minos.
Minos for lunch. Sounds like it's Greek, yes?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Wonderful gentleman there.
Okay. Perfect. So what are some of the projects you're working on currently? Like your mom, talk to me.
So as we all know, COVID slowed down a lot of things for everybody. As far as modeling, I hadn't been super focused on it up until recently. I've taken on the fact that this is my product I'm selling in modeling. It's my body. So I've been trying to focus more consciously as to what I'm doing for my health and how that reflects in modeling. As far as my skin, I struggle with acne on my face here, on my jawline, so on and so forth, which is doing phenomenal right now. And outside of that, and focusing back into modeling, I've been working on a lot of music. Very excited about that. I have a couple of projects due to release soon, starting with a 2-part mixtape called The Mixed Tapes.
Love it.
So y'all will see that soon, and then followed by my first EP. Very excited about that. And we have some hopes and plans to get some visuals out for the mixed tapes, and then followed by 2 to 3 visuals for the EP.
That's great. Winston, thank you for sharing. I know under your record label, you're Trey Peace, correct?
What's that?
Trey Peace is your...
Yeah, so my artist name, and I grew up most of my life going by Trey up until I was about 21. I was like, I'm older. I'm distinguished. Like, I'm going by Winston. People don't know who Winston is yet. So, my whole life I've kind of gone by Trey. And after going by Winston professionally for a while and kind of juggling these 2 identities within myself, I was like, you know what? I feel a little bit more like Trey, but I know that I'm also Winston. It's kind of a weird thing, but yeah.
I think Trey is the businessman, and I think Winston is the artist. I mean, I'm sorry, vice versa. Winston is the businessman. Trey Peace is the artist.
And we'll be right back with more Beauty and Gratitude after these messages.
We work so hard sometimes. Isn't it time for a break? Take a walk. Or enjoy nature. Or maybe a leap. Or a ride. Or even a dip. Spending time with Whatever it is, always spend time growing and learning with a Solidity Weekend. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Solidity TV.
So we're back again. We're going to talk about, we talked a little bit about your tattoo. How did you learn how to tattoo?
So when I first came to Los Angeles for modeling, I Los Angeles is a very big, bright city. It's very different from the life I was used to, and I love to party. So I got wrapped up into the partying scene in Los Angeles for a long time outside of work, and I felt like I wasn't really using my time the best I could, and I kind of felt like I was kind of growing out of that phase. And so I had an opportunity to travel to Mexico after being in Los Angeles again. And when I landed in Mexico, immediately I kind of saw the same scene forming around me, and I stopped and said, this is my moment. This is my chance to do what I've been thinking about and use my time more wisely. And I realized that there was a tattoo parlor 1 block from my location. I've always liked tattoos. I got my first tattoo when I was 15 from a friend in a friend's room. It was really a weird, beautiful situation. And so I traveled into this parlor. I started chopping it up with the people there, and ended up meeting the manager of the shop. He showed me everything about the equipment and the machines. And I met these 2 artists there, and they both allowed me to come in and kind of shadow them and watch them whenever I wanted to. So in a way, it was an improper apprenticeship.
You learned pretty quickly, man. That's pretty amazing. I mean, wow.
Within a year, I think I did over 100 pieces for sure.
Wow, that's impressive. Wow. How do you strategize to get more exposure as an artist, as a model, tattoo artist?
I think the best way to do it is word of mouth, connecting with people organically. I feel like that's the most important way to do it, because when you create a real genuine connection with people, not only do you show a side to them that you don't necessarily get to show through, online marketing and promotions and so on and so forth. But you create a connection, and they feel not only tied to you through that connection, but they feel like a trust. They feel like a value sense in your moralities and so on and so forth. And they're like, what? I advocate for this person. I want to share what they're doing, and so on and so forth. So I think that word of mouth and connecting with people organically is the best way. Outside of that, I am very interested in, learning more about marketing and the internet and social media and the ways we can use that. So I've been diving into some courses, building my brain power on those sides.
It's interesting. I did that during 2020 on Udemy, I call it, .com. They have hundreds and thousands of courses. So I did courses on, of course, social media, all of the platforms. And it's interesting. I learned a lot. I definitely know how to create an algorithm and how to draw people into what you're doing, even when you're advertising, how you advertise, and also understanding the laws of different lands, like certain things you can't put on, let's say in Dubai, that you can put on in the US, etc. So I'm glad you're taking those courses, because it does make a difference.
I'm very excited to be doing so. I think it's a long overdue thing.
Yes. I think everyone should do it, especially if they want to, profit or grow in the social media environment. I love that you have a mug, Beauty and Gratitude.
So we spoke about this earlier. I've been drinking a lot of black tea recently. I had to feature the mug because, one, if the viewers can't tell or don't know, I happen to be staying in D'Angelo's home right now, which is now our space. We've deemed it.
Yes.
So yes, definitely need to add that little advertisement slash.
Thank you. Do you identify as a millennial? Do you say to yourself, and let me just put this out there, reason I'm asking. I think a lot of times older generations can't put millennials in a certain box. But I know that you guys communicate differently than we do. I think you're able to use social media and any kind of social platform in a more powerful way than we're used to. So can you explain that to us?
I would definitely say that, yes, I am a millennial. Part of myself feels like I wasn't born in this generation, or I wasn't meant to be born in this generation. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's more so that we communicate better, I'd say, because we understand each other's struggles. You know, just as older generations might box in millennials into this box, our generation does the same thing to the older generations or the generations younger than us. And, you know, whether we like to admit that or not. And I think that the reason we communicate so well with each other is because we're all fighting to find our footing in the world that's, you know, happening around us. And sorry, getting a phone call. Buzz that off. And I think that it's, even though the world seems to be the same and there's a lot of conflicts and social issues that are happening now that reflect almost in a mirror image to things that have happened in the older generations' times. You know, they're not our age and they're not going through what we're going through at this time. And age has a very important part to play in your place in life and what opportunities and things you're allowed to get into and not allowed to get into, as far as you know, what part you play in society. And so yeah, I'd say that I'm a millennial, and I'd say that I'm proud to be a millennial. I'd say that I'm proud of the people, I'm proud of my peers that are out, you know, expressing themselves freely without fear, because there's a lot of backlash, I'd say, from older generations that might look at my generation and be like, that is just absurd. That is not how you do things. That's not how we did things. You're right. It's not how you did things. It's how we're doing things.
Right.
We want to show you that it can work.
And I accept that because, look, I consider myself on the pulse of pretty much everything that's going on with many generations. And I do understand millennials. I do understand their identity and choices, how to choose identity and not being confined to a box. Like you, I think I was born much too soon. I think I would have thrived. I do okay, but I think I would have thrived much better during this time because I've always seen people as not three. You know what I mean? Male, female, and bi or gay or whatever. I've seen people really as individuals, and however they identify themselves is how I accepted them.
As humans.
As humans. And I've always had friends that are transgender or whatever, and I always embrace them. I remember once having a party, Trey, that a friend said to me, really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Stuck up, you know, friend said to me, he's like, why is this person at your party? And if there wasn't a cartoon of my body, I felt fire come up in my feet all the way through my body. And my thought was, I won't use the word, who are the blank? Who do you think you are to tell me who I can have in my home? And for me, this person's beautiful. You know, everyone here is beautiful. That's why they're here. And I had a small apartment in New York City, had over 75 people in this apartment. I mean,
amazing.
Tiny. But we all had a great time, but I really didn't appreciate that. And ironically, I stopped talking to him because I was like, I don't want people around me who lock people into boxes ever, you know? And if I have a gathering, I want all walks of life, you know? Just a human experience, right? That's who we are, a human experience. So what has your observations been in the past 5 to 7 years of what's going on nationally and globally?
I'd say that I'm aware of a lot of things that are going on nationally and globally, although at the same time, a lot of people might not agree with this. I'm one of those people that kind of believes in ignorance is bliss. I don't watch the news often, partly because majority of the times I get on there and start watching it, I just get upset or I get stressed out, and then I feel sidetracked from things that I should be focusing on. But not to say that what's happening on there isn't important. But you know, I know that there's a lot of justices that people are fighting for, and there's a lot of injustices that are still happening. And I just think it's important for people, you know, people fear what they don't understand, right? So a lot of people in power are making a lot of decisions that are affecting a lot of people out of those fears or out of their belief, because their belief is drawn from a fear.
Right.
And I think it's important for us to face those fears and to have the conversations that people aren't having, because that communication is ultimately what breaks down those walls. And yeah, I see the more people are talking about things, more people are communicating about them and breaking down this mystery as to what could be on the other side. It's definitely creating a better society and a better place for us to coexist.
That's true. I'm going to pause right here, guys. We'll be right back with Beauty and Gratitude. Thank you. Welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude, everyone. I have a few more questions for Winston Trey Peace. Trey Peace being his album's going to drop soon. I should say mixtape, right? And
mixtape first, then the EP.
And EP, yes. So first and foremost, what are you grateful for?
Oh, this is what I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for a lot of things. Let me do it without what I'm going to share, so it just comes organically. I'm grateful for my family. You know, through the years, you grow up with family, you butt heads, and you distance yourself to find independence. But really, at the end of the day, family, and that can be your blood family, that can be your tribe you've found. That's the most important thing. I think it's always growing, I think, for me. But I think it's more important for me to focus on my family these days, and you know, provide what help I can in anything that they're struggling with, or just be there to listen to them if they need an ear or a shoulder. You know, I'm there. So I'm grateful for my family. I wanted to share this.
Drum roll, please. Oh, geez. Thank you.
So I actually opened this book up. I wouldn't say daily. I'd say maybe once a week I open this up and I find a random page, and it just kind of helps me know what today's going to be a good day if I wasn't feeling super good in the morning. So what I wanted to share was I opened this up. I flipped the book around in my hands a bunch. I opened it up, and today it says, "I am grateful for all the guides that have assisted me throughout my life. You being one of my lights. We are fully connected to the other side as children, but most of us are disconnected when doubt or faithless consciousness is introduced. I'm aware and grateful for all guides that have intervened in my protection and success. I may not always see you or show my gratitude, but today I say thank you." So for everybody out there that has helped me on my journey, I just want to say thank you. And again, you being one of them. To the viewers that don't know, I am in D'Angelo's home, and he has extended a period of time to me, and not only me, but to one of my best friends, to chase a dream. And I just want to say thank you, D'Angelo.
You're welcome.
Because I really feel like it's well on its way, and I'm excited to show the world what it is.
Yes. I'm not going to even comment on it. We're going to move along.
Okay.
Thank you. But thank you, though. Thank you. That's really beautiful. What do you find beautiful?
I find no filter to be beautiful. And when I say that, I mean no filter in the words we speak, no filter in the emotions we display, just the lives we live, kind of. And in today's world, you know, I feel like we lack a lot of that. Yes. Everything is, you know, curated to show you the biggest, brightest, best versions of everything. And it's like kind of fucking sucks, to be honest. And I think that it's important for us to find confidence in our flaws and in the flaws of the world, because it's the classic good and bad, you know, without the good, there's no bad. And without the bad, there's no appreciation for the good.
I
And
agree with
so I
that.
think that that's what I find beautiful in the world. The grit creates character, and the character is also much more appealing when it has it.
I I wrote down as you were talking transparency. What you want is transparency with people.
Hmm.
I joke around. I've joked around with you, and I do this with other friends. I'm like, the werewolf's gonna come out, because I'm pretty much contained, but there is a side of me that other friends know, but you haven't met yet, but you'll meet eventually if we ever go out dancing or whatever. Um, but I joke about it because I know sometimes I censor who I am
Hmm.
just to make others feel comfortable and at ease,
Hmm.
But when it comes down to it, I always show them who I am, and whether it's on a job or with my family knows me very well. They know when a certain bass drops in my voice, I mean no games,
Hmm.
and the same thing with friends. They know that if this voice changes, that okay, something's up. He's about to go in.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's okay, I think, to say what you just said is like to be transparent, to be open, to show light and your dark side. I think
Hmm.
all are beautiful. And I tell friends often, I'm like, show me your darkness. It's okay.
Yeah.
Show me your darkness. It's okay. Because everyone wants a safe space, right?
Hmm.
Mostly the show is really about inspiring, but it's also showing the yin and the yang,
Hmm.
dark and the light, all aspects of ourselves. And I extend that to you, and you've shown me your true self, I believe, and vice versa. I'm a shit talker, and I have always been one.
I do my fair share of shit talking as
Yeah.
well.
And I do censor with that because, in this world of Me Too, this world of just being very careful what lines you cross because you don't know what people's boundaries are. There's
Hmm.
certain types of jobs I hear things and it's like, whoa, but the people in the room are comfortable with those conversations. But then you also have to be conscious of a person's beliefs, their religion, et cetera, et cetera. So transparency is the word that came up when you were talking. I want to thank you for coming on my show, Beauty and
Of
Gratitude.
course.
And can't wait to hear your mixtape. I can't wait for the EP. And I'll
Just
promote it. I'll do it
real,
right
real
about.
quick, I want to touch
Mhm.
back on the transparency. I think that um, something I learned over the past year, particularly, it's a vulnerable space,
Yeah.
but it takes courage for you to be vulnerable and to be transparent. And when you take that leap of faith and you wholly, fully believe in yourself, you know, no matter what the people around you are saying, you'll come into your confidence in a way you never realized, and the world will respond to it in a way that you didn't think was possible. So I encourage anybody out there who is on the fence about a leap of faith, about being true to yourself in that leap of faith, take it. It's so worth it.
It is. Whole is a beautiful word, and holy, I equate them as the same. When
Mm,
you're whole and complete, you're being holy. you
mm.
know. So I'll leave you guys on that note. I want to thank Winston Trey Peace for being here. How can
Thank
we
you.
reach you? How can we reach you on Instagram? And
My Instagram is Trey with 2 underscores followed by Peace.
Mhm. Thank you.
Uh, the upcoming 2-part mixtape will be released through that and through my soon to be released website. So that will be coming forward soon as well. And otherwise, you can email me at lifeofmrpeace@gmail.com.
Thank you again, and we'll be back next week. Thank you.